We're definitely not a whole lot of creators who are like doing Luchi stuff.
Yeah. Now,
So you found your niche.
what I'm curious to see is if I'm gonna have wacky audio problems once I start the stream, which I think I have done. Guess we'll record it too. Are you still there?
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry, I nudged my mic so it unplugged because the Yeti's a piece of shit,
Yeah.
and I need to get a
I
new
think I'm
microphone.
gonna invest in something new.
Yeah.
Oh, I think my video is private. That does make things a little harder.
Hmm.
I guess I should change the title too. This is no longer a case opening stream.
Yeah, it could be.
I don't have another case. Thank God.
Honestly.
Okay. Now, hopefully, we're vibing. And hopefully, we don't lag too much. Because I feel like I lag. I really need to either get another desktop
Uh-huh.
or move my current one down here. I
Are
don't
you
really want
like
to.
plugged into Ethernet?
Uh, it's not the internet that's an issue. It's that I'm on a laptop.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is an issue. Yep. That makes sense. That'll do it.
Right. Am I live?
You are live?
Wonderful.
Oh, you are.
Wonderful.
Nice. Okay, let me click on that.
Shauna is going to see if we sound terrible.
I just heard myself. We're fine. We sound fine.
Okay. Or like the volume for each of us like kind of on par, or is one of us way louder than the other?
I'm not gonna lie, I muted it as soon as I heard my voice, but
Oh, that's
I sent.
super fair.
I was like, I hated that. Uh, lonely.
Alright. I guess I'll put a little post in the Discord, see if any of
I
that
was actually
works.
just typing it up.
Nice, nice. There you go. Let's go.
uh, uh,
You do that.
all right, done.
Yeah, let's go.
Alrighty,
And then I
I'm
guess
gonna send a heart.
we'll wait just a minute here, see if anyone wants to hop in.
Hey, you got
Then
three. Of course,
we
one's me. Oh, there's Chris.
and
Oh,
then
sorry, Kevin.
yeah, that should be fire or crossfire Kevin.
Crossfire
Cross
Kevin.
cross spelled with a
Actually,
K, of
nope,
course.
nope, nope, nope.
Huh?
Actually, no. Crossbow with a K, but then do a C, and then it's KFC. There's Chrome.
Let's go.
We're vibing. We're vibing. All
Alrighty.
right, wait. Did you prepare a tier list at all, or are you just kind of going off the cuff?
I was just kind of gonna wing it and
Okay.
talk and see where we land.
Okay.
Ah, yeah, there we go. Crossfire.
KFC. Boom.
We've
Okay.
rebranded. Oh, and Jacob. Let's go.
Let's go.
The
We got the
goats.
boys.
Yeah. What's up,
Alrighty.
everybody? So we're doing a tier list spontaneously. uh, after like a couple weeks of JP being sad that I don't text him. So I finally did. So we're gonna just jump right in and see where we land. Oh,
Of course, you guys get input on this. Yeah. Gavin is a what we call what would you say awkward?
a little
Because
bit.
I'm obviously not. So I guess we're doing this now finally. But if you want to start us off, since this is your channel,
Jacob's asking if we can hear
Jacob, we cannot hear you.
him. Alrighty. Garp.
Yeah,
All right. So
Garb
yeah.
goats.
So
Yeah.
here's how this is gonna work. I guess JP's already got a little tier list put together. I was just gonna go through one at a time and see what we think. I'm probably gonna argue that Lucci's better than it is, but copium. But yeah,
I
so
mean, as long as you put it in B, we're fine.
we're gonna start, with the set one stuff and just kind of work our way down and see what happens. So starting off, we have Zoro. Zoro goes in S tier. I don't think there's much of an argument on this one, though I will say that I don't think it's been performing as well as people were expecting in set four, at least so far. It did win Knoxville, but it was also the only top at Knoxville, if I'm remembering right.
Yeah, it was. It was the only top. I think a lot of people thought that Zoro was going to be bad this set, quote unquote. Bad in terms of how it's been, at least because of Rebecca and this like weird notion that Grape Dofi beat it. I don't know where they got that one from. But yeah, Zoro, I still think is probably the best meta call in the game right now, since North American players suck at playing Rebecca.
It's
I mean,
super fair. Uh, like honestly, I feel like I remember hearing that going into set four that people were kind of thinking Newgate would for some reason be a little worse this set, and Zoro would be like the undisputed best deck. But I feel like it's kind of been the other way around, where Newgate is still absolutely eviscerating everything, and Zoro's just kind of hanging in there, doing well.
yeah, I think I would agree with that. I think Newgate is the best deck in the format as far as consistency goes. Although I think Zoro has the potential to beat the other two best decks in the format, which are Newgate and Law. Spoiler alert,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Speaking of Law, next up we've got Law, who, to no one's surprise, I would think. Um, hey, Chris, shut up.
I just saw that.
um,
Chris, we actually have the same mic,
my
so I'm
voice is
not sure
just
what's going
worse
on
than
there.
JP's, so um, you know, I was just born worse than him. Anyways, so
Jesus,
yeah, to no one's
false.
surprise, Law is, in my opinion, an S tier deck. It's has it I don't think it's won anything yet this set, but it has done a whole lot of topping, or at least it did in Knoxville. I don't
I'm
n
thinking
it did well. There was one law top 4 yesterday, I think,
two.
maybe?
No, to be at least the last four undefeated decks were Croc, Queen, Newgate, and Zoro.
Okay, well, it
So
was
I
like
think
top 8.
all undefeated now all undefeated laws were out by 16.
Okay.
So they were there, but I don't know. Zoro is just a little too good into law, and then Newgate has the potential to be good into law if they're running the unhinged four of Gum Gum, Fire Fist, Red Hawk, Jet Pistol, whatever the hell is actually the card name for that. Uh, in my
Yeah,
so yeah, I don't think it's won
uh,
anything though this set. It's just gotten a lot of tops.
yep, and I think it will continue to do well, and again, it's been a good deck for a while, and it's still a good deck, has a good matchup into Katakuri, and I mean, it can do fine into everything. I don't feel like it has any absolutely terrible matchups, really, except maybe Ace, which no one's playing.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think Zoro's a bad matchup if they're running the Whitebeard Pirates version. I think it's
Yeah.
pretty bad.
If they're
I think
running
it's rough.
Vistas again, I think, yeah. I
Crumb,
think,
me and Gavin just suck at playing Law. Croc is not a bad matchup. We're just bad. There are two different things here. These are not the same. Oh,
um,
Zach does play Ace. Gavin.
yeah, that's true. I'm sorry. I know you're there, but you were playing some purple yellow garbage, and I'm still salty about that. So I'm gonna pretend you're not here right now. Anyways, next up, Red Green Luffy. Um, is this memes or good luck? Probably
I think
memes.
Red Green Luffy could top a Game Haven locals that only 6 people show up to.
So I'm gonna put it in good luck because it has the color red.
Nice. Angry.
That's
I
what
mean,
I
it's
think.
pretty much Law, right?
It, you know,
It's effectively Law.
not really. Uh, the only reason I think this deck could ever become playable is if there's ever some busted 5 cost character with a win attacking effect that's really good and isn't once per turn. That's it. That's the only thing. It needs to have a busted win attacking effect that's not once per turn.
Like 4 cost Brook.
That's not good enough.
It's pretty good. I don't know. I still stand by. I got absolutely dunked on by a Red Green Luffy when I was messing around with maybe a non-optimal Newgate deck on the sim, and I will remember that until the day I die, because he just kept double attacking with stupid ass 4 cost Brook. It hurt a lot. Okay.
I mean, like, if you can somehow manage to get your opponent low, you can do rush Luffy things, but Law just does that better because restand Law. So yeah.
That's fair, I suppose. Yeah. But what if you don't have
Oh
restand law?
well, that's why you should be running 4.
Oh, fair. No, 3. Anyways, Odin.
Okay. Odin. Um, just because I feel like it always does, feel like Odin goes in B personally. It might.
Put that shit
It
down to C.
it
Put
might.
that shit down to
Listen, in
C.
every
No
format in
way.
Japan, I swear it's topped or won or something.
No, it topped one time in set 3 in
No,
Japan.
listen, it's gonna be
That
the
is it.
bottom. It's gonna be the bottom
Crumbs
of
with me.
B. It's
It's
gonna
gonna
be all
you
right.
can put
Fine,
it in.
fine,
You can put it in
fine.
C.
It will be the top of C.
I'm fine with
I
that.
don't know. Might top. You don't know.
I do know because Red Rock exists now. I don't know. Hose makes a good point. It could just be SS. It could just be above Law and Zoro and Newgate.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, it does suck into blue. That is an issue. Uh, in my heart, it's gonna be the bottom of B, but yeah, probably top of C. I think it's okay, and I will be cooking with Odin on the channel. I can promise you that. Dofi, probably a B, I think. Dofi just kind of
Yeah.
sticks around. I think there was a Dofi that did okay at Knoxville, I think. Like a mono blue Dofi. I know there were a couple.
Yeah, he was actually sitting next to me when I was at table 2. I think that was round 5.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Japes is my friend who did make Top Cut, and then his matchup screwed him in Top Cut. So yeah, he's better than me, by the way.
I'm not. I just play red decks. Um,
Um,
the
yeah, I
Dofi
think
is absolutely a B tier, I think. I think the addition of Red Rock and 3000 Worlds being a card, Mihawk being as good as it is, it just solidifies it as like solidly B, just being a little worse than that toxic deck we're gonna get to here in a second.
Yeah. Gofi's just a consistent deck, and it's kind of done okay every format. Got a win last set at Gen Con, I think. So probably still gonna be okay in set 4. I would not be surprised if it tops at least once. But we'll see where things go. Um, again, we've also got you touched on Red Rock, uh, but you can even play the 10-drop Kaido now if you want. And that's an annoying card. So yeah, got some new options, but probably still just going to be doing the same thing it's always done.
Excellent. Totally agree.
So next, we've got Flurple Kaido. And y'all liked that video a lot, but unfortunately, I think Flurple Croc here is probably at best C tier deck. It
I think
d-
Blurple Kaido is better than Odin.
you know, I was that's fair. That's fair. It's got blue, and blue's pretty good right now. I I the deck's fine when you can string together 2 9-drop Kaidos. It's pretty good. But if you want to string 9-drop Kaidos, uh, just wait till like I don't know. You even string them in the Luffy deck? I don't know that you can string them, but purple just gets better in set 5. So if you're
Uh,
sad that purple is bad, just wait till set 5.
is not cost Kaido? Is it down -5?
Yeah.
So if Luffy gets to 5, it plays Kid. Yes, you can. If you play Blocker Kid first,
Okay.
and you
Yeah,
have
that's what
10
I thought.
Dawn, then you can string them. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, Crow.
stringing
Yeah.
together the 9-cost Kaido is really strong into most decks,
I'll say
but
anything.
um yeah, Purple Kaido just isn't very consistent even with search. It still suffers from if you miss your Onigashima, you almost certainly lose. And even if you do find it, uh, you're still gonna lose to a lot of decks like Zoro and Law, who can just go wide and swing too many times.
Even Newgate can just swing a bunch of 6s. It's still just be vibing.
Yeah, yeah. So I would love to be wrong. I'd love to see Purple Kaido top. I don't think it will.
You know what? I'll be the devil's advocate here. I think if we can say Doflamingo could top, I think there can be one guy running Blurple Kaido with an Altar leader, of course, and he can just find Onigashima every game with Husu, or just have it in hand, and then string together 9-drops all day, and we can see him top. I mean, fuck it. If Queen's winning events, I don't know what's going on anymore, man. I put Blurple Kaido bottom of B.
Okay. Well, in that case,
Woo!
we will
We
put
did it, boys.
we will
We
put
did it,
Blurple
boys.
in the B tier. It might top. It has the tools to
Let's
do it.
go.
It just needs to
Let's
high roll to
go.
hell.
Exactly. It's like Kaido set 1.
Now,
Same deal.
Blurple Croc
Put that shit in
is
good luck.
is it memes or good luck?
Actually,
I
it's
love
memes.
this. I love
It's
this deck.
memes. That shit's
I love
ass.
this deck. It is absolutely a meme. But honestly, and JP's probably gonna tell me I'm wrong. I think it beats Zoro. That's about it.
You think it beats?
I think it beats
Explain.
Zoro.
I'm going
Um,
to need an explanation for that
so
hilarious take.
so it has a lot of counter and it draws cards, so you can just not attack Zoro's life and counter out of everything until you can clear their board, and now you can heal too. You have lots of events, you counter out of everything. They're playing mostly small things, and you just kind of gas them out. also for things like Marco, you can just 3,000 worlds and draw a card.
What if they're playing Straw Hat Zoro?
And they rush,
Yeah, a lot
you
of
you
rush.
just counter out of everything because you're Blurple Croc, and that's all you do.
Okay. Well, you know
That
what, Kevin? Why don't you bring Blurple Croc to the locals tomorrow? We'll see how that fantasy plays out. Anyways, on to King.
next.
That's it. Yep, that's a meme.
Now, whoever says King topped a box tournament, I'll mute you. So we're moving on. Newgate, S tier. Probably the
Newgate,
top
it
of
might
S
top.
tier. Uh,
Maybe it's
Newgate
B.
is honestly, all right, hot take, and I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. I think Newgate is a very good deck, but I think its best asset is that it can just farm bad players because they don't know how to play into a 6K leader.
Yeah,
And that's
I
why
mean,
it's as good as
truthfully,
it
you need to
is.
swing wide. If you swing wide, Newgate loses straight up.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game. That's why
So
Law is so good into it.
I think, yeah, it's it would be a good deck even if there were more good players, but it is staying in S tier because people still just don't know how to play into it. I think that's where I'm at.
I think it's a bit of both, right? Like bad players don't know how to play against it. This is true. Like you can just straight up win games because like it gives you that high floor of you're a 6K leader, but like it's still topping, right? So it still has to beat at least 3 to 4 good players to get that top. So
Yeah.
it's like it farms bad players. So I guess you're the good thing is you're like skipping that variance check throughout all your wins.
All right.
But
But see,
it's still good enough.
here's the thing. I believe yesterday in the online regional, in like the top 32 who were undefeated, there were like 17 new gates, and then by
This is
top
correct.
four there was
Yes.
like one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So again, they farm the bad players, and then the okay new gate players will get weeded out. But yeah, it's still a really good deck, and if you know how to play it well and you know your matchups, it can beat anything. Assuming you don't brick, but it's a card game, you will sometimes.
True. Is that right, Jacob? Newgate most top 64s in Dayton. I think it's tied with Lucci, right? Oh wait, no, I've gotten 2, and Jacob's gotten 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, never
I
mind.
mean,
We're vibing.
I'm the only one who's topped with Luchi, and I did that
Well, there hasn't been like a ton of top 64s,
twice.
so
That's fair.
so
So yeah,
two is still a number.
yeah. You know, Queen's got more top 64s than most things. So just saying.
Less top 32s than Luffy though. Haha.
Yeah. Garp, good luck.
Nah, put that shit in memes.
All right. Uh
Put it in memes.
all right. Well, Jacob, I tried. Um yeah, Garp is Garp, and honestly, I feel like someday if black or red either gets card draw so that the KO effects in black aren't as pulverizing to your hand, this could be really good. Or if we just get more good cost based removal, this could be good. But I don't think it will ever be good, probably. Can you put it below
Can you
memes?
put below memes? Honestly, I think this is from the heart. Even if Garp had 4 negates, 4 rad beams, and 4 Marcos, it still wouldn't be good.
Well, and it's because the deck thrives on cost-based removal. So,
Yeah.
honestly, if we've got, like, the starter deck Kobe, from the starter deck 8. Like, that would be good in a Garp deck, but it's still too expensive for what it is. Now, if there's some way to, like, restand and reuse the Kobe, maybe, but I don't know. There just needs to be a lot of really good cost-based removal in order for you to get any value worth playing Garp. I don't know. That's what I think. Like, the effect is fine, but being able to actually get value out of it is hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't synergize. That's what it boils down to. End of the day.
All right. Yeah. Enough on Garp. Kinemon. I feel like if we put Odin in C, Kinemon kind of also needs to go there because they're basically the same deck.
I would say Kinemon is better than Odin simply because it can cheat out a Kiku against Zoro.
Yeah. I mean, Kinemon still has the busted early game. Like, if you open Okiku into Yamato, you're vibing. Uh,
Yep.
though it does have a new terrible matchup in blue.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Blue's a terrible matchup for everybody except for, like, Law. Maybe. A good Law player, a good Zoro player.
Yeah.
So,
So I don't
we
have a
hate
whole
Blue
lot of
here.
insight into Kinemon, but it's a fine deck. I doubt it will top, but it could.
It could. It could. Speaking of things
Sanji,
that won't top.
like, I'm gonna be honest, it's below King. It's bad. And this is so disappointing because I was so excited when a Sanji leader got spoiled because he's my favorite Straw Hat. And it is the most uninspired garbage effect in the game,
Hold on, yeah, hold on, Gavin,
in my opinion.
hold on.
No, no,
Jacob
like,
said, didn't realize I was watching Hard Pirates. I'm about to. You need to mute this man. You need to mute this man on site.
why did he say that?
I'm assuming for the Garp slander.
Oh, well, go ahead and talk with Garp, buddy. Then we'll talk.
Damn, cooked.
All right. Um, if I was Heart Pirates, I could say a lot of other things, but I'm not.
True.
Um, but Sanji, most uninspired leader effect in the game. Like, he just plays vanillas. That is so boring and stupid and unfun. Like, I didn't even want to try and build a deck for Sanji, even though he's my favorite Straw Hat. Because, like, oh boy, let's just play a bunch of characters that do nothing. Like, you don't even draw cards, so you're just gonna run out of things to do after you play all your vanillas and they get removed, and then you're crying because you're a 4 life leader and you can't do anything. It's stupid. Um, I hate it. Please give Sanji a good leader. That's all.
It's not gonna happen. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. That's fine.
Like, maybe the green blue Zoro Sanji will be okay. Maybe.
I'm gonna doubt that, but we'll see. I
Yeah.
guess.
Given what we know is coming in set 6, all 3 of those spoiled leaders seem pretty pretty okay. One of them seems broken.
I think
So
one of them is broken. I think I might be taking a hiatus whenever that one drops, but we'll see.
all right. Ivankov is good luck above red green Luffy. But good luck probably.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that.
Like,
It's just
it can
not
still
as good
do
at
what
doing things.
it can still do what it did in set 2, which is high roll to hell. And if it plays against me, I'm sure it will. But even, like, given what else is in the format now, even if it does high roll, it probably loses most of the time. Not having
Yeah,
cards
yeah,
is really bad in a game like One Piece.
Chrome says C. I mean, I guess you could probably make the argument for C, right? Because it does get access to what's it called? It
I
does get
guess it is a
access
mono
to
blue
Red
leader.
Rock and stuff. Yeah, essentially is where we're at now. And
So you could
Jacob, I
play it.
played Nightwing on the sim the other day, and he was playing Newgate, so he's a trader now.
Yeah,
Simple as
he
that. No
played
more
Newgate
Garp.
at Knoxville.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, I talked to
How
him.
about that?
He's a cool dude.
Dang.
Shout
He's a
out
nice guy. I
Nightwing.
like him.
Yeah. Takes really great pictures. So
He
yeah.
does.
But yeah, Ivankov, I guess it is a mono blue deck. So even if you don't play it to do the Ivankov thing, you can just play mono blue cards and it's probably okay. Because let's be honest, we're gonna get to mono blue Croc here in a bit, and that's a pretty good deck. And there will be a lot of games where you don't even use the leader effect. So I guess in that facet, Ivankov is pretty good.
Yeah.
That's
And
all.
I think you would, bro. I don't know. It's like kind of like running or not running a Rush Luffy in red right now. Like it just doesn't make sense to not do it. If you have access to Red Rock, you might as well run a copy or two, unless you're Rebecca, and that's because Rebecca needs cards in hand,
Yeah.
or I guess doesn't need cards in hand. But that's because Rebecca needs to be playing stuff every turn, whereas Ivankov can kind of get away with keeping the bodies and removing threats, eventually.
Yep. So
But yeah,
yeah, I hate this deck. If it tops, I'll cry. Just I want it dead forever. But yeah.
facts.
So Magellan, I would say Magellan is probably the best mono purple leader right now, but that's not saying a lot. But I
I
feel
would
like
actually contest Kaido.
maybe.
Kaido top in Europe, brother.
But all right, if we've got Blurple Kaido and B, I think Magellan is as good, if not better, than Blurple Kaido.
We might
Thoughts?
have to drop those two.
Like
We
that
might
that's
have to drop them.
yeah, but you
That's a
see what
good
I'm
point.
saying, right? Like if we've got Blurple Kaido here, Magellan's better than Blurple Kaido, right?
Uh,
It's at least as
is it?
good.
Is it? It can't ramp very well, if at all, except unless you're like your opponent's killing stuff, and
Yeah,
then it's
but
killing stuff.
you, you just actually, you know what? You're right. You know what's wrong with my
Like, is
Blurple Kaido deck though? We're not playing
what's
Magellan.
that?
We just need to play the Impel Down package. We need to really ride into that. Magellan, the character, is stupid.
It really is. Yeah, I think maybe there's something there. I don't know.
Maybe we try that. I don't know. So yeah, uh, I gotta keep the Blurple in B tier because we gotta at this point. So Magellan's gonna be down here. I think Magellan's better than Ivankov and Kinemon and Odin. Do we agree with that, or should it move down?
Uh, as of right now, yes. Um, just because you can kind of spam board a little bit with Magellan, and you can't really do that with Kinemon or Odin. And I think Magellan has a better matchup into Newgate than Ivankov does
Yeah,
currently.
that's kind of where I'm at. But I don't know. Odin.
Odin Odin's lucky he's there.
All right.
He's lucky he's there.
Now, what do we think about Z? I'm gonna put him here out of respect for the boy. I feel like you're gonna say he's memes, but I don't
I
think
mean,
he's
fuck,
that
I
bad.
got clapped by Z. My only loss in the 3v3 that day was to Z. So fuck it. Put him in B. Put him somewhere else.
All
I
right.
don't know.
I don't
Nah,
know if
he's good luck.
B
He's
is acceptable. And I'm still gonna stand by that, I think he's actually done semi okay in set 5. And by semi okay, I mean people have played him and not gotten absolutely ass blasted by everything. Against some of the slower decks, it can do okay. And I still think that if we get more generic purple ramp that's consistent for what the deck is trying to do, it could be good because the effect is strong. I don't care what anyone says. Like having a leader that can remove a 3 cost with a Dawn minus is just good because Dawn minus effects are just inherently broken because it's another way for you to utilize your Dawn. So it's just another way to pay cost. It's like free in a way. I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess it can really high roll. Like it can high roll. Like if it gets Kuzan out, it's hard to lose. The issue with Z is that it just gets clattered by Zoro and Law.
Yeah,
But like it has a good new game matchup, which is the thing.
it gets it gets rolled by fast decks.
Yeah.
But if it can ramp more consistently, it could be okay, I think. Like I said, Dawn minus effects inherently are just broken, in my opinion. Like having another way to use your Dawn is just crazy. Because when it really gets down to things, One Piece is just a resource management game, and whoever can get the most value out of their resources is gonna win. And having another way to use your resources is just good. So
Yeah. No, I'd agree with that. That's why purple, I think, once they started getting a little more support, just turned into the best deck in the format.
yeah,
It's
and I think
interesting.
that might be why even like took longer for purple to get good is because they were a little more hesitant to give them broken cards because
It-
inherently having more ways to utilize your Dawn is, like I said, kind of broken. So uh, they were a little slow and cautious, and then they just said screw it and printed mono purple Luffy. And turns out the Dawn minus cards that were already in the game were good enough. The leaders just weren't. So
Yeah.
that was the only thing holding it back. Because if you look
Who
forward
knew?
to set 5, purple Luffy decks that are doing well are straight up almost just set 1 decks with a mono purple Luffy leader. So
Hey, don't forget Blocker Kid and
I said
7 cost kid.
almost. It's like 80% of the deck is just set 1, and then you've got a couple new cards.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. Consistent ramp is pretty broken.
Um, Moving on, we've got Smoker. Like, honestly, I think it's better than the C tier decks. Like, all of the mono black
Okay.
leaders
Yeah.
are they're fine. Maybe Smoker's the like smoke. Well, actually, hold on. Um,
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
just to get that one out, this is the worst mono black leader. Um, Smoker, it's fine. It's not good. It's fine. And it's a mono black leader and there's still good cards. It's just this isn't really a format for mono black decks, I don't think. Though we did see the starter deck Luffy did make top cut. Super cool guy, by the way.
Love that
Um,
guy.
yeah. Um, that guy and his group. Shout out to them if they ever stumble upon this. So
Yeah, they're pretty great. Yeah, I think yeah, that's a good spot for Smoker.
it's probably like
Because the black cards are pretty good.
it'll probably stay the top of C. Like it's a if there's a C tier deck that's gonna top, I think it'll be Smoker probably. I don't know. We'll see what else ends up in C.
Let's say we'll see what yeah. Yeah. Speaking of what could end up in C.
Um, yeah, we're like
Nah, I think Ace is still B, just for being red.
E. Okay, you know what? That's fair. Um, yeah, unfortunately for Ace, he's he really took the hit for Daddy when they restricted a bunch of cards as
Would you say maybe he was caught in the crossfire? Uh,
Yeah.
but
Um, yeah, I don't know what else to say. If like honestly, if it had even access to just the blocker Marcos, I think it would be an A tier deck. But without the blocker Marcos, it gets a lot worse.
Zach, you laughed. You laughed. That was a donut. It's because I think Ace is still better than those two though. Let me be clear. Jail. What are you doing? This is donuts here. Donut. Oh god.
I know how to spell donut.
That's like one of the ways to spell it. That's not.
Wait.
Nope. You can do that. That's fine. That's acceptable spelling.
Is that it said it was mad at me.
You you can do that, or you can do like how you spell dough, like Dough, and then like nut, as in nut.
I'm a math teacher.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so Ace is going into the new donut tier. Um, it's it's a red deck. That's about all I have to say. And it doesn't get
Yeah.
punished for running lots of events because there's still 1K counters. So
Never
it's
punished.
fine.
Also, it gets Rush Ace, which is pretty cool. It's a pretty good card.
Yeah, that's all the deck has left is Rush 8s. It's a
Yeah.
leader that's not Newgate, can get full value out of set 2 Ace.
Yeah. There you go. B tier for best. Alrighty. Anyways.
Okay, Nami. I think Nami, personally, is an A tier deck. It still kind of just loses to Zoro and Law most of the time. But against just about everything else, I think it has a pretty good shot. The format slowed
I
down a lot in set 4.
Nami gets clapped by Newgate. What are you talking about?
Okay, yeah, maybe. But I think the
Not
format
baby.
has slowed down a lot, and Nami, maybe I'm wrong. I think the doors have opened up for Nami a bit, though.
I think it's definitely better than it was, right? Like, cause it can. I don't know. I don't play blue, but I know it's better. It's got to be decent into Queen or Rebecca, right? Or am I losing my mind?
Um, yeah, no,
Any
it
Nami players in chat?
I'm gonna move that thing real quick. Yeah, no, it as a Queen player, yeah, Nami's gonna roll you. You're too slow.
uh, Javier, Flame Emperor is a mid card.
It's a fine card.
It's a mid card.
It is Nami a B tier deck? Maybe it's the top of B.
No. Nami's A.
Okay, yeah,
Nami's
that's
definitely A.
and
It
I think
gatekeeps like all these decks, which is the issue.
I don't know. I feel like there's kind of a divide on this based on what I've been seeing. I think because all right, there are a lot of people who think Nami just loses to yellow, and there are a lot of people who think Nami beats yellow. I don't play Nami enough to really make a stance on that, but I think it can beat yellow. So I
I
don't know.
think for it to beat yellow, yellow has to not find Big Mom.
Yeah. If they just
I think
string
that's the
10
thing.
moms, but like 7
Maybe just
moms
straight up
bad.
lose.
Like they need to string 10 mom and just never attack you other than stringing the 10 moms essentially. But like, I don't know.
Gavin,
I
you
think
gotta put spoiler with donut.
um it's not a spoiler if you don't say anything. No, like donut that has no meaning. It's just a
Why is
donut.
Ace donuts? Does he like them in the show or something? I don't know, Gavin. Why don't you tell him?
Yeah, Katakuri is gonna end up in donut tier too.
Oh, true. Yeah, but to go back to Back to Nami. Yeah, I think it's a really good deck. I think the issue is that if Newgate finds Sanji, or honestly, if any of those top 3 decks find Sanji, Nami loses.
Yeah.
If Katakuri finds more than one big mom.
Yeah, that's fair. So maybe it
Yeah,
is a B, but I'm gonna leave it an A. I think it's fine.
yeah. I think A's good.
Uh,
It's probably bottom of A, but it's A.
yeah, it's it's a blue deck and can run
It's
Red Rock. And I do know that over in like the Asia meta, there's a player. He has a YouTube channel, RJ. He did a lot of winning with Nami over there. It is a deck you have to play very well though. So
oh yeah. There's no room for mistakes with it, at least in higher tier games.
yeah. All right, moving on because this is getting. But Kuro. I don't know. I feel like all these green decks are just like great. Thoughts? Where did you have Kuro on
Uh,
your
where did
list?
I have Kuro? I'd Kuro in good luck, but I guess he could top locals because yeah,
I don't know.
I
I
don't
feel
think.
like he's the same thing he was last set, except you can run 10 drop Dofi if you want.
I guess that's fair, and I guess C should be theoretically our most full tier. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'll give you that. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Arlong for sure in memes. I don't know who was asleep at the wheel when someone said
It's
that that ability makes sense, but
it's so bad because a lot of people will compare it to Mono Blue Dofi. Here's the problem though. One, Mono Blue Dofi can cheat out good cards. Two, it cheats them out the top of the deck, so it's kind of like you're drawing cards, whereas with Arlong, you're playing them from hand, so you're losing cards. That there is no comparison to make here, other than they both need to Dawn
I was about to
to do
say
their thing.
Dawn times 2 rest 1. They are essentially the
That
same,
is the
Gavin.
only comparison here.
Same
Yes, they play
deck.
characters. This is card advantage. This is card disadvantage. Like
Yeah.
it's just bad. And then the cards that Arlong got, just they have like terrible stat lines. Just like
What you mean? Sparrow.
the cards that were targeted at him.
Yeah, they use blue stuff. Yeah,
Yes.
it's all bad. It's like, here's your 4/3. Enjoy.
It's like if you were gonna do something to like mitigate the power of those cards on plays, just make it so even if you play them from hand, just like make it so there's a clause in the effect that's like you have to play them rested or something. Don't just give them terrible stat lines. That was not the move.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. But then, well, then Kuro gets a lot better too, though. But, anyways, on
Iceberg.
to King meme.
Um,
No.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think
okay.
I think Iceberg is better than everything else in this tier, though.
You think Iceberg is better than your baby Blurble Croc?
Yep,
Okay.
it can flood the board, and if the
It can flood
opponent
the board.
can't deal with the board, it's fine. But yeah,
Well, and it can flood the board in the same vein that Arlong can flood the board, though. It's the same
no,
deal.
it does it better than that.
I mean, if you have the whatever it's called, the stage out, then yeah, sure, it is better than that.
Yeah,
Arlong's also not deramping himself every time, every time though.
yeah. Iceberg is better than Arlong. Can't change
Yeah,
my mind.
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, okay.
At
All right,
least
all right,
Iceberg
all right,
has
Luchi.
good cards to play.
This is true. Purple cards are busted.
Um, I really want to put him like at the
Nope,
bottom of A,
nope.
but
I
I
don't give a
will.
shit where you want to put him. He's in B. I'll give
Li
you B.
Listen, he topped today in a
Well,
regional.
yep, might top. That's the name. He might top. He is not a
Yeah.
likely top.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Given what I have titled each tier, yeah.
Also, your tier is titled likely top at least once.
Oh,
I know what you're going for there. There you go.
there
I
we
didn't
go.
notice that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I should have caught that.
Anyways, like I said, not I'm a math teacher. I don't do that language arts garbage. Who needs that? Who
Uh,
needs to know how to
I
read?
agree.
Certainly not a card player like myself.
Facts.
So yeah, Lucci is it's gonna be basically doing the same thing it did last set. And so if Newgate continues to be really good and you can play against all the Newgates, you can probably do okay. I'm not gonna
Is Lucci good or as good into this sketchy rushing Newgate though? Or is
um
he better into that slower one from last set?
he's probably better into the slower one,
Okay, that's what I figured.
but I don't know. He still can just swing big twice a lot of the time.
Yeah.
It's a fine deck. That's it's not it's a mono black deck. Like I said, all in all, they're playable. Like Smoker is playable. You're just probably not helping. Uh
That's fair.
Big Mom. I don't know. It's a good luck, I think. I don't think it's
Yeah.
memes because it's yellow and you can play 10 cost Linlin. So on that alone, better than a meme deck.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think Tem Mom just makes any deck at least viable in a locals format.
Yeah. So not much else to say there. I feel like the only deck you can really compare Black Yellow Big Mom to is Queen, and Queen is just infinitely better at what this deck wants to do.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, Queen's the best new deck. Everyone knows that.
Anywho, Katakuri
No,
has not been popping the way I think people thought it would. So, are we gonna keep it in S, or is it like
I
top
think
of
he's
A?
the I think he's top of A.
All right, so
He loses to 2 of the 3 decks up there.
this is probably gonna be where people flame this list because this needs to be an S tier deck. But given the results, and there have been quite a few. I mean, there haven't been a lot of set four events yet, but in the ones that there have been, Katakuri has not done too hot. It's not done too hot. And I think this was one of those decks that going into this format, people thought was going to be like possibly the top deck this format. The It got really only 2 new cards, or 3, I guess I got another 2 new 2Ks and then the Sanji, which are really good,
Got
but,
Yamato and then Paraspero as well.
yeah, I guess those 2. So it got a lot of new stuff,
Got a lot
um,
of stuff.
but with how many people are going to events and playing Katakuri, and then how bad the conversion rate has been, I don't think it in my opinion, I don't think I agree with you. I don't think it deserves to stay in S tier, at least right now. Someone could prove
I
me wrong, and it could just start topping everything, but the deck is just not consistent because you basically need 2 triggers out of life, and then you win. 2 good triggers out of life.
Yeah, I think an issue with it is that he just I get what you said, will top consistently, but I mean, I don't think I don't think it topped yesterday. I don't think Eggman's posted
It
the
well,
lists of what has topped, but it didn't top yesterday.
it
And it just straight up auto loses to remotely competent Newgate and Law players, which
it
I
is
find to be an issue.
topping, but, like, not again, it's kind of like with Newgate. Given how many Newgate people are still playing Newgate, you expect a lot to top, and a lot are topping. And honestly, I think there are less Newgate players in these events than there are Katakuris. There are way more Newgates topping than Katakuri. Katakuri has been one of the most played decks this format and had one of the lowest conversion rates of decks that are topping. So, like, the player to topping ratio is not good at all, at least from what I'm seeing. Kinda like Pocket saying, a lot of people are showing up to these events with Katakuri, and not a lot are topping. I'm not saying it's not
Yeah.
topping at all, but there's not a
Well,
lot of
NA
topping.
also doesn't really give us the data on how many are playing the deck. But anecdotally, there were definitely about the same amount of Katakuri players as Newgate players at Knoxville, with maybe even fewer Newgate players, and there was a huge discrepancy on what was in the top 32.
How many Katakuris topped at that event? It was only
3?
I
I
was
think it
gonna
was
say it was
3.
like 3 or 4.
Yeah,
Not
it
a
was
lot
3.
is the point, especially given, again, how many people showed up to that event with it. So,
Yeah.
that's all I really have to say there. If if it's gonna be an S, it's definitely the bottom of S. Like, I don't know if we really talked about where like, I think we agree that Newgate's probably still, like, the top. I don't really know what placement with Zoro and Law is, but they're kind of I don't know, they're pretty on par with each other.
Yeah, I think it's fairly interchangeable up there.
Um, so Vivi, um, I feel like it's better than the meme decks. It's not
I
good.
just feel like it's got a cool thing, right? You just draw a card every turn with no restrictions. I feel like that's good.
Yeah, I'm gonna be generous.
I think that's where I put it.
Could top
Is
locals.
could top locals. I think that's about it because it's blue and it's red, which are arguably the two best colors.
Yeah, and
So
I think honestly, Vivi could do okay if it gets the right matchups. Maybe. All in all, I think it's a relatively unexplored deck, probably for good reason, but I don't know. I if someone showed up and cooked, I wouldn't be totally surprised, is what I'm trying to say.
yeah, I'm still waiting on the cross list because he
Like,
said in his last live stream he thinks VV is decent, and
yeah,
it
I
just
did
someone
see
hasn't
that.
cracked it yet. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I
Well,
think it has potential.
and I feel like there are two ways you could go about building it. You could lean more into red and try and do something more aggressive, but I feel like the problem there is your board can just get farmed until you run out of things to do. And then you can also go a little more control-y route, which is what I've been dabbling with. But deck space is tight is the issue I'm finding. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean,
There are a lot of
I
good
don't know.
cards between red and blue, so yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe someone could do something.
yeah, it's not gonna be us, but I'm sure somebody who's actually good at the game will do it eventually if they get bored enough.
Yeah. All right. Great. Um I feel like it might deserve A, but I can't put it higher than B. And I know it's topped, and I know it won a regional somewhere.
It's Europe. It doesn't count.
And but
It's Europe. Mickey Mouse.
the maybe it is the bottom. Is it the bottom of A? Are we gonna do that?
I think it's the bottom of A.
All right.
Unfortunately, I still think the
Yeah.
deck's a fucking
It
fraud, but
the deck.
It's a
is
Newgate thing. It can
the
beat
deck
bad
is
players.
not bad. Deck is not bad, but it just I feel like it suffers from what Lucci suffered from last set, but even a little worse. In that, what is a good matchup for Dofi? Like, what is a good
I mean,
matchup
a bad red player.
for it? Like,
Like it's
Lucci
just
had
linear. That's the thing.
Lucci had one good matchup in the Newgate. Everything else was kind of 50-50. I feel like Dofi is just this deck that it doesn't really have good matchups, but it also doesn't really have terrible matchups. It just can beat everything if you play perfectly and draw your 10 drops.
That's the thing, right? Like the deck plays itself. There's no finesse to the deck. It's like, oh, here comes turn four or turn if you're on 3 dawn or 4 dawn, you're playing Nami. Who cares? On 6 dawn, you're probably playing like Guild Tesoro or something else, like an Uta blocker or like a Film Zoro or something. And then you're playing Luffy and Uta, and then you're stalling till you get your 10 drop. And that's about it. There's no finesse to it, and then you're turning the chain 10 drops and then hiding behind a bunch of events. So like it's like I said, it's like the similar thing to Newgate, where Newgate can just kind of play its curve, and it'll probably win against bad players, just like Doflamingo will. I think that's pretty much the gist of it. Really high floor,
Yep.
really high floor.
Pocket, you're right. Like I said, Nami is definitely the bottom of A tier if it's in A tier. Uh, I just had Goofy there because that's where he
Yeah.
landed. Uh,
Similarly, it's like it's done better than Nami because there are a lot of great players. There are a lot of them because people
and
want to play the deck.
like we're not just basing this tier list off of what's happened in NA so far. This is also given what we know from the Asia stuff. And Nami, I believe, won a lot more than Dofi did. I'm not.
Yeah,
I
Dofi
haven't
was
done
really
a
good in the first couple weeks in the East
lot of
because people didn't
research into
really
that,
understand what was doing it.
but there were definitely some good players in Asia who played a whole lot of Nami, and it paid off. They did very well with Nami. Like I said, RJ, I think he won like 2 or 3 serial Luffys, if not more, with Nami. So
That's pretty
Nami,
wild.
he did pretty well with the deck. So that's why Nami's up here. It's like I said, there aren't a lot of players in North America right now on Nami, but
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah,
still a
we
good
like
deck and
fast.
deserves to be up here.
All
Um,
right.
E-Show is a good luck. I feel like
Yeah.
all these like dual color leaders are like they're not as bad as the meme decks, but like they're just not very good. And I think of the leaders in this tier, this is the most interesting one, at least in my opinion, because I remember during spoiler season for set 4, people thought this one was going to be crazy, and then the set released and it was terrible. Like on
Yeah, I
paper,
agree, Pocket. I would say on paper, this deck makes so much sense. Card draw for the deck that loses cards to kill stuff. That should
yeah,
be
like
amazing. But
I
then,
remember
no.
Hardy Kaizoku making a video and saying essentially what you just said, where like, green strength is drawing cards, black strength is killing things, the cost of cards. So you put those two things together and it should just be great. But it wasn't.
Yeah.
And like it's two solid effects too, but somehow even in a slower format, it's not good.
That's because those top 3 decks are not slow. They are very fast.
Well, I
Isha
guess
doesn't
yeah,
really get
like
to do stuff.
there are decks that can play slower now, but they have the support that allows them to play slower. And those decks are blue
Yeah.
decks. Uh Where are we putting Rebecca? It's not. I don't
I
think it's
think
an
it's
S tier.
below Katakuri, but above Grape.
I don't. Here's what I'll say about Rebecca before I let you talk. I think Rebecca could. I could be convinced to put Rebecca in S if people start topping with it. I think it can consistently top, but I don't think there are going to be enough good players to put in the time with Rebecca for me to be convinced.
But yeah, I think the deck. I think it's just fragile, right? Like in the same vein that like Law is kind of fragile, but like times 10 because it's such a hard deck to pilot. So like you mess up once against like those top 3 decks, and you probably just lose, especially to Newgate because it has such big swings coming at you. So like just to play optimally is so difficult with it. So like we saw in the East, you'd have a top 16 of like 14 or 12 to 14 Zoro and Newgates total. Then you'd have like maybe some laws, or you maybe have like 10 Newgate and Zoros, a couple laws, a couple Katakuris, and like one Rebecca, and then Rebecca won. So it's like Rebecca really rewards these players who put in a ton of time with the deck and they know their matchups and they know what to do with every single turn. All their Dawn is used optimally. They play them bright cards and it'll reward them for it, and they'll probably top and they'll. I mean, you saw in Knoxville that guy went 9-0 with it, but then lost to Queen. So it's like it's a really, really good deck, but it's just really hard to pilot well, and
Yeah.
it kind of relies on you not breaking too. So
Yeah.
it's really good, but it could just lose.
In response to Pocket, I feel like it's a little bit misleading. A lot of people do like think that Rebecca did really, really well in Asia. I believe it won 2, maybe 3 events, but it didn't have a lot of top sides outside of that. It's just the ones who did do well ended up winning. There was one where I think Becca ended up first and second, but it didn't have a ton of tops. It's just that when it did top, it usually won. If I'm remembering that right. Like I
Yeah,
said,
that's what I was
I
trying to
I
say.
don't
Yeah,
super keep up, but like it did not top in the way that like Newgate is topping or Law topped or Zoro topped. It just the events it topped, it usually won. That is
yeah.
how I'm remembering it, at least.
No, that's I think that's how it went.
Like
That's how I'm remembering it as
I could
well.
go ahead and check, but yes, I think it was maybe a little overhyped going into set 4 for us because it did win a couple events there. Um, after like, on spoilers, it was one of the leaders that people did not think was going to be very good. It's kind of like Isho and Rebecca switched places, um, based on
Yeah,
what people thought during spoiler season. So, but yeah, Rebecca is definitely a solid deck, but it requires you to play flawlessly and think very far ahead, and it does require you to draw the right cards at the right time and just know how to use your cards to the fullest, because having a leader that can't attack really makes you need to play your other cards perfectly.
yeah, yeah. I'd agree with all that. I think
All right.
it's also the issue here that NA players are bad, and all. And actually, I forgot to mention this is that Newgate and Zoro were much slower in the East because they had Radbeam and Marcos to hide behind. Now they just
Yeah.
kind of got to go fast, and that does not do well with Rebecca.
NA
That was the last
players
thing.
are just whiny. That's all.
That they fucking are. I see one more post saying we need to ban Newgate because I'm fucking bad. I'm gonna lose my mind. Yeah, but enough of that.
Yep. Yep. Newgate doesn't need ban. Linlin doesn't need hit. If Linlin needed hit, Katakuri would be right here, and it's not. Uh, Katakuri is here because it's not winning. It's topping. Not like, again, the percentage of people who are playing it versus the percentage of top. Like the conversion rate is just bad. So obviously, Linlin is not a problem. Is it fun to play against? No. Is it problem for the competitive environment of the game? No, not really.
Yeah, it is gatekeeps. Like I
Yeah.
can't play Luffy. Fuck you, Will. Uh, I can't play Red Luffy because Katakuri exists,
Hey, I think I
as
just
does
saw
Red Rock.
before we started the stream that Russell posted something on his Patreon about Luffy. He does say that Katakuri is its worst matchup.
Yeah,
He didn't say anything
can
other than
confirm.
that on his Twitter post, but he says he thinks he's gonna play Luffy to Niagara, I think.
Huh. You know what? I'll love to see him do it. If anyone can do it, it's probably him. But if he sees more than two Katakuris, he's going to be a sad boy. And honestly, probably also Monocroc.
Yeah, that's fair. Alrighty. So Queen. Queen won the regional yesterday, and I did pretty well with Queen at Knoxville. I did not top, unfortunately, bubbled out. I think I was probably the second highest placing Queen player though. But I think somewhere in A. Um, I think it's better than Grapes. I don't know that I'd say it's better than
Okay,
Rebecca.
I'd agree. Fuck grapes. Yeah, Queen's up there.
And
Queen won
I
an
will say
event
I have
in
played
NA.
against a lot of green purple Dofi with Queen, and I don't think I've lost to it. Or they can
Yeah, I mean,
win, but it's like they need to have all of their 10 drops and just lock your leader so you can never heal again.
yeah, I
That's
guess
how
that
they
will
win.
do it, huh?
That's how they
Yeah,
win.
that's pretty good. It's kind of funny, actually.
Yeah, but you would think the deck does better into Queen than it does, but, like, what you can do is early, you can just completely ignore their life and just clear the things they attack, and even if they get some draws with their Tesoros or their Namis, eventually you're gonna kill those, and then they're just gonna gas out. That's what I found, like, you can really just completely run them out of resources. I did that
Oh yeah.
at Knoxville and against I only played against one at Knoxville, but I've played like I said, I've played against this deck a lot, and I don't think I've ever lost to it. So, yeah. Queen's a good deck. I do think maybe kind of like Newgate, a lot of people don't know how to play against Queen, so I'll let you guys in on a little secret. You just go wide. Like, you just go wide and swing as many fives or sixes or whatever. You don't need to swing more than that because Queen needs to be on a low hand. So if Queen is doing Queen things, you can go wide, and chances are they've got bombs in their hand too. So you can just go wide. You don't need to swing big into Queen. Just go wide and swing a lot as fast as you can,
As I
and you'll
say,
probably
I'll
win.
let you guys in on another little secret. Swinging wide on most decks is how you win. Pinging is like hilariously good into almost every deck except for Rebecca. Dear God, don't do that against Rebecca unless you have like 5 attackers. You will lose.
Well, against Rebecca, I feel like going wide isn't
You
necessarily
can't
right.
go wide until the end. Like,
I
I
feel
guess
like
maybe the
against
middle, like
Rebecca,
7 Dawn.
you need to swing more than like 7 at least because
Yeah,
you need to get more value out of your attacks in that matchup. You can't just be getting one card because your things are just going to die. They need to get at least 2 cards. Don't rest them unless they're getting 2 cards because
yeah,
once you rest them, they're probably dead.
yeah.
So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Or,
Um,
or you will rest them, or you don't have to rest them, and then Luffy comes down and, King Kong guns you and everything dies. But anyways,
yeah. Yeah.
Purple Yellow Croc.
Is it's I will say, uh I've lost this deck more than I'd like to admit. and I think it's probably better than all the D tier decks, and it's better than Vivi. It's probably better than I don't know. I could put it at the top of C and not feel bad about it.
It's yellow. It has access to Yamato Katakuri and that stupid new 8 cost Croc to heal. So it has like 2 ways to heal. Theoretically. I guess 3 ways to heal if you count Katakuri putting your own shit in life. Yeah, you could probably put it in C.
Yeah,
And
it's
I think it's probably better than because they could just spam big bodies out like a machine.
you know,
And then
and
you're just
because it
crying.
heals so much, it's also essentially drawing a lot of cards. So in that like sense, it's not bad. I don't have a
Yeah.
whole lot
Yeah.
else to say on that. It's definitely a lot better than I thought it was. But I didn't think it was very good, so that being a lot better than that still only puts it at the top of C for me.
Oh yeah, I mean it's not topping. It's Zoro and Law exist. It's not topping.
Um, so now we've got the promo Uta, which
Bottom of F.
it's a red deck though. I feel like
But dude, it's play red's not even good anymore. Who even cares? If you're not playing it's effect just boosts vanillas.
listen,
And
it
vanillas
is
get bottom
better
decked.
than all of these decks because it's a 5 life red deck.
If you don't put Uta in F, you put it at the top of F. I don't care. That shit's an F. There's no longer 4 Newgates. There's no longer 4 Rat Beams. There's no longer 4 Marcos. It's the top of F.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. It's still a mono red 5. Like it's a mono red leader. Red is good.
Red is good, but it doesn't do anything unless you're
You're
using
saying
vanillas.
red's not good, but I don't
It is really good, but those leaders are also all insane.
Yeah.
Also, too rare to die. It is Lakers Croc. Lakers, Los Angeles. And that is all it will ever be known as in my eyes. None of this Yerple or Palello or whatever the hell you guys are calling it nowadays.
All right. We're on to our starter deck leaders.
S.
Starting off, we have Luffy,
S.
who he,
S.
he just keep in mind
I
that
will
Ace is
contest.
also like B tier, but just he also has to be donut tier. Um,
He's Luffy beats the brakes off Blurple Kaido still, I think. Because he can go fast. If he
and
has
again,
more than a blocker on the field, Dofi loses.
like this is probably what the list should look like, but um, this stays here. Luffy is still a mono red leader, and his effect is good. Unfortunately for Luffy, um, blue is pretty good now, and I think the way that Luffy wants to play gets punished by blue and
Yeah.
yellow.
Yeah.
But
It's a sad day.
it's still a mono red leader, and it's good. It's not bad. If it tops, I wouldn't be
Yeah, that's good.
surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, like Cardi Kaizoku says. He's like Schrodinger's box. Luffy could be F. Luffy could be S. Who knows? He's a weird guy. He's flexible, no pun intended. He can do pretty much anything that Zoro wants to do, just not as good. And then he can do kind of what Ace wants to do as well with all his removal. And then his leader effect is also insanely useful. Just being able to essentially have 11 Dawn. It's nuts. It's really good. But he likes to play big bodies, and Blue likes to put big bodies on the ground because people who play Blue have no friends. So they have to make sure that I have no friends to play with on my board. On to Kid.
Kid. I as much as I want to keep Lucci the top of B, I do think Kid is better
Oh
than
yeah,
Luffy.
yeah. Kid is absolutely better than.
And I think it was Cardi Kaizoku again who put out a video today. It's gonna
He
be
did.
Kid
I
Week,
saw
I
that.
think. And he made
Yeah.
a good point that I didn't think of. And that's that Kid is still a fine deck. It does the same thing it's been doing, but it might be better here and see more representation here than it did in Asia purely because we have red restrictions. And I think the like Marco was really good against the Kid because it could always block one of your 2 hits for 1 card, essentially. And not having that as a 4 of, I think might make it a little better here than it was over in Asia. So that I just thought that was a
Yeah.
good point. Like, not we only have 1 guard point or no, 1 Rad Beam and 1 Marco and 1 Newgate, and I think those were all cards that were pretty good against Kid.
Yeah, they were. And I mean, also, Kid has access to 10 drop Dofi, which is irritating
That
to say
is
the least.
that is true.
Um,
That is true.
10 drop Dofi is a very good card. Everybody gets 10 drops except red, haha. Until November 3rd, haha. Then we're coming for you. We're taking your lunch money. Um, yeah, and I think being able to swing 12 twice is probably more useful than Doflamingo, if I'm being honest. Just being able to set up 2 Dawn. That's just my
2 Dawn
opinion,
is
but
kinda broken.
it's really good. Like, it's Luffy times 2, except it's on defense. But it's like, it's good, but like, you might not have it, right? You might not have the 2 Dawn.
So, are you saying
Kid,
that
you always
Kid
have the
should be
12k
A?
swings. Not, there's no data to put that there yet. I'm just
Didn't
speculating
it
on what
win
I
an
think
event
is
today?
it. Yeah, Latin America. It won that yesterday, but Mickey Mouse, or I think Ace top there too. I don't know what the fuck these other places are doing with Ace, but they like do people not know how they just say like swing on 7 Dawn turns over there. I don't understand. Anyways,
Uh, yeah, I'm
I
gonna
think
leave
yeah,
Kid.
it could be.
What?
It could be A. I think you could make the argument for A, but there just isn't enough representation right now. Fuck. But there's also Nami that were saying the same thing. Fuck
But
it. If we're
again,
saying Nami's
Nami
A,
had the
then
representation in Asia.
true. That's true. That's true. That's true.
So for the
Okay.
time being, I'm gonna leave Kid here. But Kid could make waves. I wouldn't be totally surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. You can never count out a double 12. That's like
Of
that's a
the
lot.
green leaders, this is definitely the best, like mono green
Yeah.
leader.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You hear that, Will?
Speaking of
Not Odin.
monocolored leaders, Croc, who
Can you make a new tier for me?
uh, is this the no friends tier?
Yes, it is the no friends tier. Your family doesn't love you. Your friends don't love you. You want to see the world burn.
Now,
Just you can write an essay there if you'd like.
I feel like
I think it is the top of A.
like
I would agree with that.
there aren't as many people playing it as people playing Katakuri by a large margin, I would say. There are quite a few people playing it, but definitely not as many people as there are for yellow. People definitely have a bit of a hard on for yellow, I think. Uh, Croc and Croc, I think, has topped as much as Katakuri has, if not a little more. So the conversion rate
Yeah.
is better just because there's less people playing it. It got like second yesterday, losing to Queen. It can beat again. It's a deck that can beat just about everything.
Yeah.
Like it's just a good deck. It's an annoying deck. They've got a lot of good triggers now. Um, so yeah, it's a good deck. I don't know what else to say. Um, you don't even always need to use your leader effect. Like I said, I think towards the beginning of this stream, it it's a mono blue leader and it has the most like vanilla good effect. So it makes him the best one.
Yeah, I would agree. That's that because like Dovey relies on you know being a 7 warlord, but yeah, Croc. I just you just need to swallow your pride and just put shit to the bottom and not let the guy you're playing against have any fun because you don't have fun and you obviously hate your existence. Anyways, moving on from Croc.
Um, yeah. Uh, Again, pocket. Yeah, yellow. I think it's a deck that people can play, and it makes them feel like they're better at the game than they are. And I'm all for people playing the game
Fuck.
and playing decks they enjoy. And I might be being a little critical here, but I think yellow is a deck that bad players can do well with if they sack out of life. Not necessarily bad players, but less good players. Like, I have almost lost games to new players because they hit 5 triggers in their life. It's it's just kind of how deck works.
Yeah, and you might say we're hating because of yellow, but just take a look at an L. Look at how that deck's doing over in the east, and then just see how bad Newgate is. We'll talk. We'll have a nice conversation about which one is worse for the meta.
Yeah,
Just putting
and,
things
like,
out there.
I have not lost to Katakuri very much, and I don't think you have either. Yellow's just an inherently
Only is losing.
annoying deck to play against. So, I don't know. You play Newgate,
Yeah,
I don't think you lose to Katakuri very often.
I know. I lose to Yamato more than Katakuri.
Okay, that's fair. Um, Fido, I don't know. He did top, so I guess he should be.
Yeah, yeah, you did. Look at that goat.
I don't know. I cannot be convinced he's above a C tier deck.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put him right
he can high roll
there.
himself to a C tier deck. But we do live in this really strange world now where Blurple Kaido is, I would say, empirically more consistent than Purple Kaido, just because of
Oh,
who's who.
he is. He is. And so, yeah, they're pretty close to each other here. I feel like this deck can do more than this deck can, though. So, yeah, I think I'm happy putting him kind of towards the top of C.
Yeah,
I feel like there's some
that makes
people
sense
who
to
would
me.
put him lower. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, because I think he has auto loses to like Zoro and probably Newgate and probably Law. But I mean, so do a lot of these decks. So yeah, put Shanks, make a new thing, wasted potential. That's what Shanks is.
Yeah. I'm just gonna leave him here at the bottom of memes. Um, like the leader effect is not inherently as terrible as all the other leader effects in this tier. The issue is the card pool that Shanks has to work with is the cards in Starter Deck 5. There are no other cards. I don't. There's Shiki from the 2K Shiki, who is Phil.
Hell yeah.
But like other than that, and there's also the bullet, I guess. There were a couple purple film cards in set 2. This deck has essentially nothing outside of the starter deck itself, though, that synergizes with the leader effects. If we get a bunch of good purple film cards, this could be a C tier deck. Maybe bottom of B if the cards are really broken. The effect is
Yeah.
not terrible. The card pool is.
Maybe set 6 with the new Uta leader. They'll have purple film cards. And then Shanks could be not awful. And he can move on to mid.
Yeah. So that's all I have to say about Shanks. Card pool just sucks, and he's super restrictive. So Big Mom, I'm gonna put. I feel like somewhere right around here, and
Yeah, I think Kid's a
it's
little better than
only
Big Mom.
it's only because it's still a yellow leader, a mono yellow leader, the Big Mom Pirates typing. It's really not much worse than Katakuri. Like Katakuri is objectively better, just it in every way. But Big Mom is also not terrible. It can do
Yeah,
things
and
that
her effect
Katakuri
is pretty cool.
can't, but the Katakuri is just more consistent.
Yeah.
So I don't have a whole lot else to say. It's just a mono yellow leader.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Mono
good.
yellow leader with 10 Mom. I think that's all you really need.
All right. This is a weird one, I guess, because it did top, but
Yeah, similarly to Purple Kaido. I mean, kind of the same deal.
out of
It's like
respect for the guy who played him, I'm gonna put him
facts.
top of C.
He could top locals for
He,
sure.
he is the
And it
king of
does have a
C.
super, super good Newgate matchup.
It does. Because you can play a Sakazuki on curve, kill something, and still swing. Things like that are what let this be
Yeah.
good into Newgate.
It's the same deal with like Rush or with Mono Red Luffy. You
And
can
if you
play
can
something on
high
curve.
roll, if you high roll and get your either Kuzons or Ishos into your Shanks, it's pretty good. But
It's
it's
really
very
good.
high roll. Kind of like Kaido. It's a high roll. Yamato, I can't convince it's better than a B tier deck, and I think uh right there. That's what I think.
Yeah. I think that's probably fair.
I think
Its ability is really good. It's like miniature Newgate
it
with
is an
yellow weapons.
ability that can farm bad players who don't know
That's
what
for
it
sure.
does or read the card. One of our friends who went 7-2 at Knoxville was playing Yamato, and there were at least a couple instances where the people who just kept swinging fives into a six, and he's like, "Yep, that's cool. I'm just gonna let that go and move on." It's a it's a mono yellow leader. Its effect is good, but it doesn't do anything crazy. Like it's just there.
Yeah.
Like
And it doesn't get 10 Mom, which is kind of iffy, but it makes sense that, well, I guess it kind of works for its ability that it doesn't get 10 Mom because then the ability wouldn't work.
in comparison to like Lucci and Kate, who are also in this team, these effects can just outright win games. This effect can slow things down and give you time to win, but it doesn't just win you games outright.
Yeah. Yeah. Kid can straight up just win you a game. That's which is the craziest thing about. Like it can
I
you
think,
can just stall Newgate out and just win games with Kid, which is hilarious to me.
yeah. And then we've got the 3 starter deck 10 leaders, which aren't out, but we're gonna go ahead and place them. Uh, this is a set 4 tier list though, so we're gonna treat it as a set 4 tier list with the starter deck cards. Uh, with just the set starter deck cards, where do you think Luffy lands? Like,
So without access to Newgate and Rab Beams and Blocker Marcos, probably the bottom of B because it is a
yeah,
6K leader. It still
that's
gets
kind of what I
some
was
ramp
thinking.
cards and still, I mean,
I'm gonna put him
shit,
right
6K
next to.
leader.
I'm gonna put him right next to this Luffy.
Yeah, I think it can be really good. Like, in the fact that it can still take advantage of lead performer. What is it? Lead performer disaster.
Yeah.
It can take advantage of that and then play Kid the following turn. The 7 cost Kid. I think that makes it exceptionally strong because you're like
Um,
permanently a 7K leader.
there are a
So,
whole bunch of 4 cost ramps that you could play.
well, that's you have that. You have Gene Bart. You have Libra
Well,
Former
Gene Bart doesn't
Disaster.
work on 4, does he?
Works on 5, so you can have an odd curve and an even curve. And then you can do,
Oh, you need to be playing it on 5.
yeah, yeah. So 4 Dawn,
Well,
you have Basil Hawkins or Lead Performer Disaster. 5, you have Gene Bar, and you could play Miss All Sunday theoretically as well. And then if you do it on 5, you can play Newgate the following turn on 9.
yeah. You could also play the ulti, but that doesn't have counter, so
Yeah. And at least Miss All Sunday ramps you a car, a Dawn, and gets you a card, which is pretty good. And it's a 5K body. So
yeah.
a lot of options. That's why I like. What's up?
Uh, nothing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's why I like Lead Performer Disaster because it ramps you and it ramps you an active Dawn, draws you a card, so you can swing for 7, or you can throw down a Nami, throw down a Chopper, do any of that cool stuff. I've been testing this deck a lot lately because I really want to play it.
Yeah, me too. Uh, I'm honest, like, some people are not gonna be happy to hear me say this, but I'm hoping that by set 5, the restrictions are lifted, and I can play this deck as intended.
Yeah, likewise. Or
Um,
fuck it, I don't care. Ban Newgate, then give me my cards back so I can play either of the Luffy's.
Law, where does
I'm
Law
gonna,
place without the set
I'm
5
gonna.
support?
He's still, I think he's still an A.
That's kinda what
I
I'm
think he's
thinking, like,
really good.
where in A, like,
I think he
um,
beats. He might beat all those decks. He's
maybe.
really good. Because you gotta
Yeah,
think, he demolishes Grape. He just puts out a million 5K bodies, which Nami can't handle. Rebecca can't really pop a bunch of 4 costs. Katakuri, same deal. He plays one body on turn, and so Law's
I
like,
feel
here's
like
a.
without the set 5 stuff, he's probably, like, somewhere in the middle of A.
I think the only thing he uses in set 5 is Gamma Knife. Um.
Kid.
Oh yeah. Well, does he use Kid? He might not even use Kid.
I
I
feel
guess he
like you
would.
kinda need the kid.
Yeah, he needs to just ramp you inactive. Yeah.
Yes. I don't know.
And
I'm gonna put
then
him,
the
like,
Searcher. But a lot of the stuff he uses is Dream Bart, Beppo, Shachi, and Penguin, and then a bunch of set 1 shit.
I want Queen to be higher, so I'm gonna put him there.
That's cool. You can live in a fantasy land. I think Red Purple Law absolutely scoops Queen.
Now listen, from set
Yeah,
5,
five drop kid, Chris, the blocker 5/6 that ramps the Dawn on minus.
yeah, that's what we're talking about. But yeah, it's definitely a good deck. And honestly, I don't know what you think. I'm still putting this at the very bottom of B.
Yeah,
It's I
I
think
think it's actually really good with the
I
7 drop kid.
I do too, and people just it is definitely the least exciting of the 3,
Yeah.
but and a lot of people are like, "Ugh, it's like a 4K, so you need to put a Dawn on it, Dawn minus to attack, the first couple turns." But the thing is, it's a 5 life leader, so kind of in the same way Newgate, you just have more cards as a dual color leader, just like how Newgate has more cards as a mono color leader. You're a dual color
Yeah.
leader, but you get an extra card. And
Yeah.
then
And it can attack unlike Vivi and Rebecca.
yeah,
So
and the Dawn -1 effect's pretty good too.
yeah. No, like I said, I think Kid has potential to be good. I just think he's, yeah, like you said, he's the least exciting of the two. I think Luffy and Law are inherently better though. Unless restrictions don't get lifted by set 5.
but definitely pick up your copies of the starter deck, as there's a bunch of good cards and all the leaders are pretty good. So this is where we've settled. Are there any last minute changes we want to make before we wrap things up? This did end up going pretty long, but I think we had a nice little discussion about everything here, and maybe a little salt, but that's fine.
Little salt. Fuck blue. I think we could probably. I can get off my high horse and put Blurple Kaido down to C. I think because I
Um,
don't think it's as good as any of those decks in there. Now that I'm looking at
yeah, um, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
it. Especially
Don't look
since we
though.
have two decks that. Yeah, no, don't look. Since we have two decks that have topped in A regional in C. I don't think we could put Blurple in
Wait,
B
which two
since it
topped?
hasn't. Uh, Mono,
Luffy.
Luffy, and Kaido.
Kaido doesn't count.
I agree, but people
You
like
know
to think
what
that
though?
Europe's a
You know
place.
what though?
Fuck it, we ball. Yeah, yeah,
It
that's fair.
topped. It
It
topped.
tops,
And
and it has
I
a good
don't
white blue
care that
matchup.
this topped. It's staying right there. Right there.
Yep, Europe is not a place. Sorry, Hubs. I will make sure that you don't make it home. Okay, don't you dare. I don't want to see another blue croc in our locals. I might lose my mind. I don't know what to do with that thing. It's a menace.
And again, just in
Yeah.
case there's some people here who weren't here when we placed Nami, there are gonna be some people who are like, Nami hasn't been topping here. But it did in Asia, and I still think people just aren't playing it like they're playing the other decks. But if there's someone decides they want to be good with Nami, I think they can start winning. Well, that's why it's at the very bottom. Might end up over here, but for right now, given we were kind of hoping to do this tier list before regional season started, but I was awkward and didn't want to send a text and be told no by my friend, so I didn't for a while, and now I did, and here we are. So
Greg, I would agree with you there. However, Cincinnati also is not a place. Dayton gang. All right. Sorry. Had to interject there.
yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure you can clean house there. You're a pretty good player. Um, yeah, Nami. I think Nami's a solid deck. Like I said, I'm sure most of you have noticed if you go to locals regularly, there are a lot more games going to time this set than there have been in the past, and that's because the format slowed down a bit. There are a lot more slower decks, and Nami can kind of fiend on those.
Ain't that the truth?
But I think other than that, pretty happy with where things landed. S tier has kind of just ended up the top three, and I'm sure some of us are a little disappointed to see that this has been like the top three for the last three sets.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah.
I mean, set
Yeah.
two, these were probably the top. Set three, these were probably the top, and set four,
I
these are
think Luffy one more tournaments in NA than Newgate did, if I'm not
maybe.
mistaken. I think Newgate only won one
Whoa,
or maybe two tournaments.
Chris.
Actually, one.
Newgate didn't exist set one, and
Yeah,
Zoro was
Chris. It was
bad.
set 2 deck, and Zoro was really
Zoro
bad.
was bad set one, and you can't change my mind. I was on the Luffy train from like week two. Japes can attest. He was there.
I
He
can.
thought Zoro
I
was
was
good
there.
like I did initially. Luffy was just better as set one by a large margin. You can't change my mind.
Yeah. Zoro didn't have enough tools. And then they said, hey, here's a lot of one drops that can just make your other one drops into 7Ks. Have fun.
It was so funny too. I remember the little like one cost package with the Dawn being spoiled, and I was like, I hadn't started my channel then, but I thought about doing like just a kind of my first impressions of all the cards revealed in set 2 for each color, which I might do
Hmm.
now moving forward. But like, I remember I made the tier list and I had those cards, and I was like, they could be okay, maybe. And then they ended up being insane because Zoro can abuse them. Yeah.
Yeah. Hashtag ban Curly. Hashtag give Ace his tools back.
Yeah, I don't like, I think either banning or limiting Curly would slow down Zoro and Law, not kill the decks at all. They would still be very good decks, but it would slow them down and maybe move them out of S. They'd probably still be S. Who am I kidding?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I win a lot of games as Zoro and Law
Without ever
and
playing
never
Curly.
sniffing. Yeah, was never sniffing Curly. They'd still be
Yeah.
very good, but it would
But
just make it so they wouldn't steamroll you.
yeah, Curly is just like added consistency. And when you can Curly into a searcher and search into anything, it's it's broken. I don't know what else to say. It's broken. Yeah,
Yeah,
Curly is just, or just don't let it grab searchers or something. I don't know. The card is too good.
yeah. Like the example that I always hear is like you get Curly into Buggy, you get Buggy into Whitebeard Pirate Event Searcher, then you get Whitebeard Pirate Event Searcher into Ezo, and then you get Ezo into your Marco, and then you win because you just chained 5 cards and replaced them all.
Huh. I guess that is a thing that can happen.
It is absolutely a thing that can happen. And you can switch the order of Ezo and Whitebeard Pirate Searcher. I guess. Or no, I guess you cannot. No, you can't. You can switch the order of Buggy. No, yeah, I guess that's still in order.
I think that you have to do
It's
like
late.
that if you're
Yeah,
gonna
has to be
chain
that order.
all those
But
things
still,
together.
yeah, broken.
Just for Consoro. Straw hats.
Yes, Kay, that's the red purple law from ST10.
What?
Yes, that was a red law leader beside the queen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't think. I think Zoro. Let's see, only straw hats. Yeah, yeah, but that kind of invalidates the entirety of the one drop package because none of them are what's it called? None of them are straw hats aside from like Sunny and Sanji now.
Yeah.
So I guess you could do it. I just don't think it really truly matters because then they'll just run more Rush Zoros and more Rush Luffy's and then you cry. But I guess Marco is an issue. Yeah, Mark is a serious issue. Yeah, Mark is a problem. Okay, fair enough.
The problem with Zoro is that its effect is just too generic and too good for how generic it is. It buffs everything, and there's no restrictions at all to what you can play or do with the deck. And because of that, there are a whole bunch of ways you can play the deck and it still be good. You can do the Whitebeard package, you can do the Straw Hat package, you can do kind of a mix of the two. It can adapt to pretty much any meta, and it's versatile.
Yeah, very very versatile.
It's like
But that's why we have blue now.
I don't think Zoro has necessarily been played the same way. Set 2, set 3, and set 4. But it is still S tier for all of those sets. Because it can just
Yeah.
adapt.
Until set 5, then it dies.
No, it's still been popping.
It's got a couple, but it is nowhere near
It
as
is not
dominant
as
as it is now.
dominant as it has been. Set 5, we really see some power creep. Set 4 was a weird one because, like, 3 of these decks are pretty good, but none of them were, like, insane, and then both of these will fall off. Queen will stick around. Won't be, like, top, but it will still be a fine playable deck,
Yeah,
and then the set 5 decks are gonna start taking over, and it's looking like the set 6 decks are gonna take over probably.
entirely.
It's too hard to say. I'm not gonna say anything yet. It's too hard to say, but it is
I don't
not
know.
looking.
Double attack.
Yeah, a leader with double attack, um, yeah, someone might have been asleep at the wheel.
They were. They were asleep at the wheel. And Lil King Panda, for Blurple Kaido, we were just saying that we can't in good conscience put that in B when like even Purple Kaido has just now topped an event, and Blurple Kaido hasn't even sniffed topping an event at this point in time.
Um, I think he's asking why it's even that high maybe. Um, the deck can
Oh, he
do.
said what made you doubt Purple Kaido?
Oh, okay. Thought he said, "What made you?" Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's if it topped, I still wouldn't be totally surprised, but you're gonna have to high roll.
Yeah, for 9 rounds.
Yep.
And Betty, I think Betty is just lacking support right now. And that's the
Um,
only issue. I think it's an insanely good
well,
effect.
it is, but what you need to think about is unlike Zoro, it is restricted.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
so
It's
there's
restricted. It
only
doesn't have any
so many
support.
cards you can play in Bello Betty. Like, Bello Betty cannot adapt in the way that a deck like Zoro can. The cards are good, the effect is good, the deck is good. It's not as crazy as people thought it would because it can't adapt to the other decks that are good in the meta. It basically is just like forced to play one way, and you just gotta hope it works.
Yeah. All that. What is that called? Karasu?
Yeah, Karasu.
That card's nutty. That card's insanity. I, that if someone pulled that kind of stuff on me, like with the Vivi card giving it rush in a tournament, I'd go home for the rest immediately
Yeah.
because that'd be a violation. Minusing a leader, but yeah, it's fine. It'll be good. I think people like Red over here. I think a little more than they do in Asia, from what I can tell, because it's so fast.
Anyways, unlike you, I have to wake up and work and teach some fourth graders in the
Oh
morning.
yeah.
So I think I'm gonna have to call it here, but that's our set 4 tier list. Thanks for hanging out. This was a lot of fun. This has been almost 2 hours now, and it doesn't really feel like that. So I think I need to do more streams with you, even if we're just playing games on the sim.
I'm totally down because I
Yeah,
play
I
games in the sim like it's my job.
yeah. So just vibing and ranting with you guys. Uh, we really had a nice little chat here going. So that was a lot of fun for me. Uh, yeah, so I definitely
Yeah,
think I need to start doing more little streams like this.
yeah, they're fun. They're a good time.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Noah.
Yeah, thank you.
Sick.
So,
Enjoy work tomorrow. It's been fun. I don't have to work tomorrow. Let's go military.
yeah, I don't have students on Friday though. I just have to put in my grades and go to
Oh,
some meetings.
nice.
So,
I see. I
Friday's
have to
kind
work
of
on
like
Friday.
an easy day. So maybe I'll do a stream after school on Friday.
W. Yeah,
I don't
sounds
think I
good.
want to go to locals on Friday.
No, I probably won't be either.
Yeah, so I'll probably do a
I don't.
stream and then if you want to pop on that, we could do that.
I'm totally down. Get some Straw Hat Zora games for the regional on Saturday or Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Get some testing in for that.
Yeah. All right.
Alrighty.
It's been fun, guys.
It has
See
been
you, Chris.
fun. Yep. So, we're gonna go ahead and dip. Thanks for coming out and watching the stream and vibing with us. Um, I think I'm gonna try and do a stream Friday now, so be on the lookout for that. But until then, I will catch you all in the next video. Probably my next video probably won't be up tomorrow afternoon like I was planning because I did this, so I didn't get to finish recording the audio for that. But hopefully tomorrow night or Tuesday morning it'll be up. Kind of been a doozy. A lot of editing went into that one. So be on the lookout for that. But have a couple more videos planned this week. Should be on a more consistent schedule now. So hope you look forward to that. But I'm going to stop rambling now because I'm really good at that. And I'm going to end the stream. Hope everyone has a good night or good morning, depending on where you are in the world. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.
See ya.
Alrighty.